Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As usual, I am your host, sellssi. As we prepare for the World Cup, we're getting some reactions and thoughts of people on the team that Otto should be assembling in Qatar. Dr. NYAHO TAMAKLOE has come under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of backlash for some comments he has passed. We'll look at what he has to say concerning AYEW'S, the captain of the Ghana Black Stars, and baby jet Asamoah John, whose brother says he needs time to work on himself after calls for him to go into Qatar. He himself mentioned it, that he needs to work on himself and probably he might get into the equation for Qatar 2022. We'll see what happens on that front. We'll see what his brother had to say about him needing time to work on himself. Daniel Kofi is of the opinion that we will surprise the world. We'll look at everything in between today. As usual, subscribe if you have not. Click on the notification bell to get more updates. So I jump right into it and start with a comment of Dr. NYAHO TAMAKLOE on AYEW'S. NYAHO TAMAKLOE recently, in the build-up to the sacking of Samuel Boadu, was not a big fan of the man who he thought wasn't the right fit for Accra Heart of Oak. It turns out that Accra Heart of Oak sacked Samuel Boadu without having a replacement in place. It has come to the revelation of us all that Samuel Boadu's sacking was not well thought out, and it was believed that the coach that is the assistant currently had the necessary licenses. Unfortunately, they did not know he did not have the license to coach the team ahead of their game last weekend, and it's become a whole debacle here. But NYAHO TAMAKLOE has pitched into the conversation concerning Asamoah John and also AYEW'S, the captain. This is what he had to say concerning AYEW'S. He says it's totally wrong to bench the captain of the Black Stars. Totally wrong. AYEW'S is a very good footballer and has done enough for the team. I think we rather have to encourage him and let him play a key part in Qatar. This is quite interesting because first and foremost, it's not compulsory to always start the captain. Yes, it's not compulsory to always start the captain. There are teams where the captain is out of form. What we should be doing is starting players who are doing well and in form. And it doesn't mean that because you are the captain, you should always start. Manchester United's captain is Harry Maguire. You don't see him starting every game nowadays. There are so many instances. We had Steven Appiah, Tornado, our captain, in 2010. You don't see him starting, did you? He even made way for AYEW'S at a young age to be allowed to play in the Ghana Black Stars team. So this comment here by Dr. NYAHO TAMAKLOE, I don't know where it is coming from. AYEW'S is a good footballer for the Ghana national team. I've always said that he does not need to play 90 minutes. He has not got that strength or that longevity as he used to when he was a bit younger. He either starts from the bench or he plays a few minutes and makes way for the next. When it gets to the latter stages of the game, when he's playing from the start, he tends to get tired and his contribution is not as good as when he comes on as an impact player or he doesn't play to the 90 minutes. And that is fact. We've all seen it. And I am always of the opinion that AYEW'S is really still important for Ghana. Against Brazil, he had our best chance, hit the crossbar. No matter what, he always does find a way to get something going for us. And because of that alone, he deserves to be in Qatar. But to say that because he's the captain, that is why we should be starting him, well, I don't agree with that entirely. He also made a comment on Asamoah John. He says, Asamoah John, let's take him to the World Cup. This is what he said. I still insist we take Asamoah John to the World Cup. We would give him 10 to 15 minutes of playing time each time because I think he can change games. He's one person I can trust. Is Dr. NYAHO TAMAKLOE respectfully in a slumber? Maybe just Asamoah John has not played club football, if I'm not mistaken, in close to 2 years. He has alluded to the fact that he needs to get club football consistently and then get into the national team conversation. I don't know what he is doing with this comment here, trying to stir up conversation, but it doesn't add up. Asamoah John has not played professional football in a while. He'll be the first to admit that he doesn't deserve to be in the national team. This conversation, I think it's not something we should be hitting on so much. I think Asamoah John himself knows what it takes to be in the Ghana Black Stars team, and he hasn't got that, at least not at the moment. And my next story has to do with Asamoah John's brother. In his reaction to this, he says Asamoah John needs time to work on himself. The former Ghana international, Asawa John, has disclosed that his younger brother, Asamoah John, has to invest more time to work on himself if he deserves to return to action soon. Asamoah John, who has expressed interest to be part of Ghana's squad for the World Cup, last played for Legon Cities in the Ghana Premier League. According to Asawa John, his brother knows better and must focus on regaining full fitness before thinking of playing again. He knows much about football, and you can't just get out of your house to go to the field to play football. If you decide to play when you are not ready, the game will teach you a lesson. For me, he's not ready, and he needs to work more on himself, he said on Wuntumi FM. Asamoah John, Ghana's highest goal scorer, and I think this is really refreshing to hear from his brother Asawa John. That is as honest as we would want anyone to be. So those comments coming in, I think this settles it here. Asamoah John's brother himself says he's not fit yet, and it is not something which is up for debate. If you joke with the game will teach you a lesson, and the game of football can be so cruel at times. You have to be honest with yourselves. You are not 100% fit. You need to get fit. You cannot just get up from your house and say you want to play football at the topmost level, especially for the Black Stars. You need to work on yourself. His brother is well aware of that, and I'm sure Baby Jet himself is well aware of that. Otto, coach of the Ghana Black Stars, has been advised by Joe Carr that he should not hesitate to drop senior players. The former Ghana Black Stars goalkeeper Joe Carr has advised Black Stars head coach Otto not to hesitate in dropping senior players who are out of form for the World Cup. The former Asante Kotoko goalie said the criteria for player selection for the World Cup should be solely based on form, and I couldn't agree more. Speaking to Graphic Sport, he said the snubbing the experienced players who are not performing is the best approach to assembling a competitive squad for the Mundial in Qatar. The coach should not hesitate to bench senior players if they do not live up to the expectation. This is the only way to get players to give their best during the competition, he told Graphic Sports. Instead of relying on senior players who may have been out of form at such a high-class competition, selection should be based purely on current performance to enable Ghana to excel in such an elite competition. He concluded by insisting that players who are in their best shape should be handed a spot in the squad for the World Cup. Many new players as possible who are in good form and have the competitive edge should be offered an opportunity. And with such a positive approach, our team will not be found wanting, he said. And I cannot agree anymore with this one. Daniel Kofi is of the opinion that we will shock the world at the Qatar 2022 World Cup. I hope we do just that. And so that has been it for today. Joker says, don't hesitate to drop senior players who are not in form and will not help the team in general. Asamoah John's brother says he needs to work on himself. He's aware he's not in shape. NYAHO TAMAKLOE's comment on AYEW'S and Asamoah John analyzed, they are out of place. I don't think anyone here agrees with him. But let me know your thoughts in the comments box. I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of the week.